What would you risk for your country if the world said you were too weak to fight? In the darkest hours of World War II, a group of young women answered this question not with words but with fire and courage, soaring through the night sky in planes made of little more than wood and canvas. They were told they were fragile, that their place was not on the battlefield, but they would prove everyone wrong, becoming a legend whispered in fear by their enemies. The Night Witches. This is the incredible true story of the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, an all-female Soviet Air Force unit that struck terror into the hearts of Nazi forces. Their story begins with one woman's unwavering determination. Marina Raskova, a celebrated aviator known as the Soviet Amelia Earhart. Raskova used her influence to persuade Joseph Stalin that women were not just capable, but essential to the war effort. Thousands of young women, from university students to factory workers, answered her call. They were eager to defend their motherland, to prove their worth in a world dominated by men. Their training was relentless, their resources scarce, but their spirit was unbreakable. From the very beginning, they faced a barrage of skepticism and outright hostility. Male commanders scoffed at the idea of female pilots. They were given outdated, flimsy Polikarpov PO-2 biplanes, aircraft so slow and fragile they were essentially flying coffins, originally designed for crop dusting and training. They were handed ill-fitting male uniforms, heavy boots that didn't fit, and tools they could barely lift. They weren't even issued parachutes, as the planes were considered too low value to justify the expense. Every flight was a potential suicide mission. The establishment expected them to fail. But what their detractors saw as weakness, these women turned into a formidable strength. They were underestimated, and that would be their enemy's greatest mistake. Their strategy was as brilliant as it was terrifying. Under the cover of darkness, they flew in groups. As they neared their targets, they would idle their engines and glide silently towards their objective. The only sound was a faint, eerie whooshing noise that German soldiers likened to the sound of a witch's broomstick. From this ghostly silence, bombs would suddenly rain down, creating chaos and panic before the pilots restarted their engines and vanished back into the night. These rickety wooden planes, too small to be picked up by radar and too nimble for German night fighters to target effectively, became instruments of relentless psychological warfare. They flew mission after mission, sometimes up to 18 in a single night, returning to their makeshift airfields only to refuel, rearm, and take to the skies once more. They flew through blizzards, anti-aircraft fire, and exhaustion, their faces raw from the freezing wind in their open cockpits. Their success was nothing short of legendary. The German army was so terrified of these silent female flyers that any soldier who shot one down was automatically awarded the prestigious Iron Cross Medal. The Night Witches, a name given to them by their enemies, became a badge of honor. Over the course of the war, the regiment flew more than 24,000 sorties and dropped over 23,000 tons of bombs. They were a constant nagging threat, disrupting supply lines, destroying encampments, and shattering the morale of the German forces on the Eastern Front. These women, once dismissed and belittled, became one of the most decorated units in the Soviet Air Force. 23 of them were awarded the title Hero of the Soviet Union, the nation's highest honor for bravery. But beyond the statistics and medals, the heart of the Night Witches' story is one of profound sisterhood. On the ground, they were a tight-knit family. They supported each other, maintained their own planes, loaded their own bombs, and navigated by starlight and memory. They shared meager rations, celebrated every safe return, and mourned every empty bunk with a quiet, shared grief. They painted flowers on their fuselages and used their navigation pencils as eyeliner, finding moments of humanity and femininity amidst the brutality of war. This bond was their armor, their strength, their secret weapon against the loneliness and fear of the night sky. They weren't just comrades, they were sisters, bound by a shared purpose and an unbreakable will to survive. The legacy of the Night Witches transcends the battlefields of World War II. They shattered stereotypes and redefined the role of women in combat. They proved that courage, skill, and patriotism have no gender. In a time when they were told to stand back, they chose to fly forward, lighting up the dark with their ferocity and valor. Their story is a powerful reminder that heroes can come from the most unexpected places, and that the most underestimated among us often possess the greatest strength. These women prove that bravery knows no gender. Their legacy inspires generations. Remember the night witches. Thank you for watching. If you were inspired by their story, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe for more untold legends of history. We'll see you next time.